How do I look?
You look gorgeous, as usual.
You have I'm wearing a t-shirt.
Your cascading brown locks.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Are always gorgeous.
Oh.
And frankly, I'm a little jealous of your gorgeous, gorgeous brown hair.
Wow. Well, I wasn't actually expecting you to tell me I looked good.
Why would you think that?
I don't know. I'm wearing
yoga
t-shirt.
pants. I'm wearing yoga. I've gone full middle-aged mom, and I now wear yoga pants as pants on the regular because now they have pockets. They've made them with pockets.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for me to wear regular pants ever again.
Great.
Thank you. They hold everything in. They're comfortable, and they have pockets.
I mean, that's all you can.
I also love your t-shirt.
Oh, thank
you. What is that on there? Are those
succulents?
Succulents. Okay. Multicolored
colorful succulents.
All right. Welcome to Fashion Corner with Sarah and Nicole. This is the beautiful thing about podcasting.
You don't get to see how we look.
Wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
I could be wearing a bear suit right now, and you wouldn't know. I am wearing a bear suit.
She has really cute ears.
Over my yoga pants. It's super hot and sweaty in here, guys. This is part 2 of our discussion of Dumplin. Part 2. Part of our discussion of Dumplin. One of these days, I'm going to give up on the dream. I'm going to give up on the idea that we can discuss a movie or TV show in one episode.
Or I will just give you a look when you say that next time. I'll just be like,
"You're going to light me. You're going to light me at 45 minutes." Can you imagine? We had a lot to say about this film, and we're going to get right back into it.
Yep,
right now.
Here we go.
Hey, ho, ho! Patriarchy has got to go! Hey, ho, ho! Patriarchy has got to go!
Is that it? No music? Well, I can't approve that because technically that's not a talent.
So Millie joins. Yes. Loved Millie. Yeah. Thought she was great.
She annoyed me a lot at first.
Okay.
Just her attitude, I guess. I know her attitude was very positive, but
I feel like she's the most body positive character in this movie. Especially on second watch, she's just like, I'm going to go jogging with the girls to get to know them. She's not like, I'm jogging because I need to lose weight. She's like, I'm jogging to get to know the girls. And she's wearing this beautiful this gorgeous swimsuit at the end with these glasses, and she's working it. She's got this beautiful dress, and it feels like she is really is embracing herself and wants to be in this pageant and feels beautiful, and it really shines through her, and I just love that. No, I really loved her a lot.
I liked her more and more as it went on, but at first, and it's this problem I think that sometimes people have is they see someone with a sunny disposition and they assume they're dumb. How can you possibly live in this world and not be in a bad mood all the time? Because
that's intense.
The world sucks basically. So it's and I try not to have that attitude because I am a positive person. But sometimes if a character is just
off the bat sunny,
overwhelmingly nothing is wrong, then I'm like, what?
Well, the opposite of that is Hannah.
Yes.
Who I also wanted to talk about because I loved them. I thought they were amazing. It was so great to have. It was so cool to have a non-binary character in this movie entering the pageant, and Hannah is used as for comedic effect at times, but I feel never in a way.
But not about their gender.
Exactly.
It's about their kind of
their metalness, being metal as fuck.
Yeah.
Hannah is metal as fuck 24/7. I love the part when they're doing the talent portion where they're approving the talents.
Yeah.
And Hannah gets up there and at first is just protesting.
What does she say? Something about the patriarchy. Stop.
Hey ho, the patriarchy has got to go.
No, it's end the patriarchy or stop the patriarchy.
I just watched this last night. It's the hey ho, the patriarchy has got to go.
Okay.
So, and then they're like, this is not a talent. And then Hannah comes back and is like, let me try it again. And then they do this amazing martial arts. It was so cool. I loved that character a lot. And It was nice to see someone like that included as because I feel like what happens is, okay, so maybe we should talk about this fight then, right? That happens between Willa Dean and Ellen. Willa Dean is not trying at all at this pageant. She signs up. Her mom is really resistant to it at first, but basically Willa Dean's like, if you don't let me sign up right now, you're telling everybody in this room that I'm too fat to be in.
Yeah.
And she signs the papers because she's like wanting to save face. But also I think this is one of those moments where I'm like, it's obvious that she is like wanting to save face more than maybe like feeling like she needs to boost her daughter's confidence right now, which is one of those moments where you're like, do better, lady.
Yeah.
But Willa Dean is not trying at all. Like, she's not learning the dance. She's not like Millie's gotten the group together. So they're kind of forming this group of like outsiders, right? Where it's like Willa Dean and Ellen and Hannah and Millie, right? And Willa Dean wants no part of it. She's like, I'm not trying to win this.
Yeah.
I'm here as protest, right?
Yeah.
And they have to learn this dance for the opening number, and Ellen has learned it and Willa Dean hasn't. And Hannah is doing this whatever they're doing back there, just like thrusting their fists.
Yeah.
And Millie has learned the dance. And Willa Dean gets very upset at Ellen for trying, basically. Yeah. So they have this fight, in which Willa Dean is basically like, well, you're thin, so you're not part of the revolution.
Yeah.
And Ellen's like, well, maybe if you tried to like actually have a good time, maybe you could change the pageant by just like in a different way instead of like ruining it for everybody else, which is, I mean, I kind of agree with.
Yeah.
I feel like she's got a good point there. So they have this fight, which is totally understandable. And I think teenage girls do go through this thing where they like drift apart at times, where they like want different things and they go to different groups, and there is a little bit of jealousy when your friend is like hanging out with someone new. Like, I think that's common, but it was like the fact that they like weren't talking at all, like that seemed like like I feel like I needed to see a couple more scenes leading up to that of friction to really buy into that. Because even Willa Dean like tries to call her at work and is like, it feels weird that we're fighting, and she's like, yeah, it does, bye. And it was just like, it was like really, and I get that and also I was like, I kind of felt a little cheated at having Willa Dean and Ellen be part of that group together and go through the whole process. We haven't even talked about the hideaway yet.
Yes.
They didn't get to go through any of that together. Like, they get to be in there at the end, but like she doesn't even get to go through this whole thing. I don't know. I felt a little cheated of having their friendship pushed to the side. Yeah. It bothered me a bit.
Yeah.
I understand that it was maybe part of Willa Dean's like growth process, but it felt a little sudden and abrupt and it was hard for me to swallow a little bit.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the hideaway?
Yeah. Yeah. It was also nice to include basically Willa Dean finds this ad for the hideaway. They have Dolly nights. Mm-hmm. And she decides to go, I guess assuming they're still going on. Mm-hmm. And they discover, well, she goes with her friends. Mm-hmm. And they discover it's a drag queen
bar.
But
not with Ellen. Because they
not with Ellen. Right.
Ellen's splitting out with them at this point.
Millie and Willa Dean.
They go to a bar.
And they're like, oh, we didn't bring our IDs. I get like they don't even try to like front like we left them at home. They're just like, oh, it's a bar. Yeah. And then the guy's like, I forget, but like she somehow reveals like, oh,
she's like, no wonder my aunt never took me to this place. And he's like, your aunt, you say?
And he's like, I have a good feeling about you guys or something, and like leads them in. I'm like, there's no world.
But also it's like maybe they shouldn't be in there. It seems like kind of not the entertainment, but the clientele. Yeah. It's like adults and they're all drinking. I don't know. Yeah. But I guess they're making an exception.
That seemed a little weird to me, that it would be like, oh, all of a sudden, yes, of course, come into this bar just because you remind me of your aunt who I loved. Like,
yeah.
Bring your friends
but
too.
I guess the plot couldn't go forward.
No, it couldn't.
without that happening. But yeah, so they get there and they discover it's actually a drag bar.
Yeah.
Or at least they're doing a drag show on these nights when they're doing Dolly
all
Parton.
These drag queens dressed up like Dolly and doing Dolly songs. Mm-hmm. And then it ends and one of the Dollies invites Willadine backstage.
Played by
to meet her.
Harold Perrineau.
He was great.
Yeah. They were all great.
Yeah.
And what ends so he brings her back there, and basically they're sharing this bond that they had over her Aunt Lucy, who was like apparently like a very big part of that scene.
Yeah.
And like Lee is the character's name.
Yes.
Lee says that Lucy kind of encouraged him to pursue this passion of his for, doing drag and singing the Dolly songs. And so they shared this really personal connection. And then Willadine, and now there is like a moment where Willadine kind of seems like she's going to drop out of the pageant maybe, but in the interest of time, I feel like we'll just, since we're talking about the hideaway, we'll just kind of skip that part. But they basically enter this like drag queen school of pageantry.
It's like a montage of, yeah.
Which, yes, I enjoyed. I enjoyed the drag queens and the Dolly songs, and I think that it's important to acknowledge that Dolly Parton is very big among that community. But also at the same time, I had to, especially the second time around, I was thinking to myself, like, do we always need the gays to help us? And are we ever going to give them their own story where they're entering a pageant? You know what I mean? Like, it always, I feel like I've seen this story time and time again where the drag queens swoop in or the gays swoop in and fix a, straight person's problem, a straight woman's problem. And then they just kind of like, they're just in the audience.
Yes.
I'm just saying, it's like a trope.
Yes, it is. It is, definitely. It's like, we'll show them, but we won't give them their own stores.
Yeah, they can be there,
some shows,
but not in their own story.
I feel like, isn't there a show, shows my ignorance, but isn't there a show that is like a drama series that's about
Are you talking about Pose?
Possibly.
That's about the club scene in New York, which has transgender characters, but and I think some drag characters as well. But I haven't seen it, so I can't speak to that. And I'm not saying there aren't any stories with drag queens. Obviously, there's like, Tu Wong Fu, right?
I haven't seen
Tu Wong Fu's, or Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Like there are stories, right?
Yeah,
but
this is a trope.
I just feel like I've seen a lot. In fact, it almost reminds me also of A Star Is Born.
A Star Is Born. I was just
like,
thinking
it's just
that.
like, I'm like, this is the second movie I've seen recently where like a woman is being held up by drag queens who are not the central like it's not a story that's about them. Anyway, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. Agreed.
Let's touch on that. But so basically they're teaching the girls and they're teaching Millie and Hannah and Willadine, like they're helping them with their costumes and their talent, and they're helping Millie sort of like pare her song down from that like tap dancing hula hooping nightmare to just like being a song. And Willadine had done this really horrible magic act, and so they're like helping her with the magic act. And so we get one of those montages, those like work it girl montages, which was probably to some Dolly song. I can't remember which one. There's a lot of Dolly songs in there, but
yeah. And then who won?
Well, we should talk about the pageant.
Yes.
We talked about Beau a little bit, but I don't feel like we fully talked about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I one of the things I did really like about this movie was their relationship and how like, you have like I'm always saying like, let's have a movie where like why are we have all these movies where like, hot girl falls in love with schlubby guy, and I'm not saying Willadine is schlubby, but I do think they intentionally try to make her look as schlubby as possible, which we've already touched on. But like, and then you have like the hot guy who's interested in her, which is great. Like I've wanted to see that, and he seems like he generally cares about her, and like they have good chemistry, and I was really happy to see that in a film. Yeah. And the thing that's holding them back is like not how he feels about her, but like how she feels about herself. Yeah. Which I think I was really happy to see that as something portrayed on film, because I do think even when you're like not a teenager, especially for teenagers, God, how hard is it to like have an identity and figure out who you are and love your body when everybody else is telling you that your body is not good enough. Yeah. It's hard enough when you're an adult who's like, I don't care. Like, people don't treat me any differently if I'm 10 pounds heavier than I am now. They don't care. You know what I mean?
No.
And it's still hard to love your body, and not buy into that, like, just keep working at it until you disappear mentality of diet and exercise. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So do you think, like, the choice to always have a lollipop,
oh my
was
God.
that an actor choice? Or
what the fuck was that?
That was an actor choice, right?
Brandon did comment on that. He was like, why is there always a lollipop in his mouth?
Do you feel like that was his process? He was like, my character would have a lollipop all the time.
Do you think it,
like, my character used to smoke?
Make him hotter? Like, was it supposed to be like a
and
hot
they added
thing?
the sound. They added the Foley of the lollipop, like brushing up against his teeth. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice that. Gross.
Where it's just clicking against his teeth every time he puts it in his mouth.
I mean, honestly, do you think that made him more attractive? Do you think?
No, I was like, why do you always have a lollipop? Like, what?
Oh my God.
What is this? I mean, I just kind of assumed it was an acting choice. Maybe the actor was like, my character used to smoke.
You assumed it was an acting choice?
Oh, yeah. I don't think
the director was like, I
don't think the director had like a box of Dum-Dums sitting at craft services every day and was like, I don't want to see you on camera unless there's a lollipop in your mouth.
Well, you can't be sure of that.
I can't. It could have been the director could have been like, we're gonna need some more Dum-Dums. Can we get a Dum-Dum? Can we fly in a Dum-Dum? I mean, maybe the director did. Maybe.
Can we fly in a Dum-Dum?
Can we fly in another Dum-Dum?
Makeup.
Let's get it. Let's purple flavor this time. Purple. I was like, wow, it was a little distracting. And I feel like there's a character. Oh, there's in the Solo movie, the Han Solo movie. Mm-hmm. Woody Harrelson's like, there's like one scene where he's just eating like pistachios or something the whole time, and I'm just like, why do actors feel like they need to eat something in a scene as a character choice? It's like,
but why do you always assume?
Is this a scene about you eating seeds?
Why do you assume it's the actor?
It seems like something an actor does. Is like, my character is nervous, and the way they deal with their nerves is they chew on a lollipop.
Well, I think you'll find with me as a director, I will dictate what you will eat and when you will eat it.
Look for our new short film, The Parts That Stay. Everybody's just going to have Dum-Dums hanging out of their mouth all the time.
Ribs.
We're just going to be eating chicken wings the whole time. Just like the most inappropriate food to be eating at a funeral possible. That really went off the rails.
That's so funny, actually.
But yeah, I immediately was like,
assume it's the direction that's interesting.
I feel like as a director, I'm never going to be like, unless it's a movie about lollipops, like if we're doing Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or something, it's like all about I feel like I'm
Nicole.
Never going to be like, I need you to have a lollipop in your mouth in every scene.
I feel like I'm never going to say that in one scene, like the first scene.
Sure, and one scene, but not every almost every scene. It's like the only times he doesn't is when they're on the date or whatever,
or when they have to kiss.
That's true.
Wouldn't that be gross? I'm sorry. I'm like yelling into the mic. Wouldn't that be gross if like he had to like take the lollipop out before they kissed?
What if when they were kissing, like he has the lollipop in his mouth and they kiss and we don't really see what happened to it, and then when they pull away, she's got the lollipop in her mouth.
That's a different film. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm glad we addressed that because it was really bothering me.
Yeah.
I'm glad Brandon noticed it as well. Okay, let's talk about the pageant. I don't want to go through the whole thing.
Yeah, no.
We could just hit some highlights. So she makes up with Ellen by giving an impassioned speech, which I think was the writers felt very proud of themselves for including, and was the whole reason why we had to break.
Well,
them
this
up.
was before. This was the
preliminaries
question portion where they do like a practice question or something,
right? Which we didn't see play out in the actual pageant. We saw the opening dance number, which everybody nailed, and all of the hideaway performers helped them kind of spice it up a little bit by shaking their tatas.
Did notice that they did place Willadine in the center the entire time, which I don't think they would have done in real life. I think they would have put her on the edge in the back.
Yeah, they probably would have, but maybe if she paid somebody like $20. It's like, I'm going to really piss off my mom by being in the center. She did good though. But yeah, great. I mean, do you think for weight reasons or because she was so shitty during rehearsals?
Both.
I can see that. But yeah, I would hopefully it would be because she was so shitty during rehearsals. But so they have the dance number. They did the swimsuit competition, which they called
health and fitness.
Health and fitness. Barf.
Yeah, barf.
And
didn't they take away the swimsuit portion in like some?
I don't know. I feel like they were talking about it, but I'm not really sure. But obviously they're still doing it at Miss Teen Clover City or whatever. But Millie crushed it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there are elements of this movie, and I actually wrote down. I wrote down in my notes, like, does this movie hate fat people? Because it feels like it does sometimes in a movie that's about loving yourself, no matter what shape you are. I mean, Lucy dies. They don't tell us why, but
it's because she's like, there was one throwaway comment from Rosie that was like, if she took better care of herself, she'd still be here.
Yeah. So we don't know what she did. Was it diabetes? Did she have a heart attack? Did she have like what happened? We don't know.
Yeah.
But like her weight is blamed on her death, right?
Yeah.
The movie again, I would like the way that the actress playing Willadine, and I'm sorry, I wrote it down. She's actually Australian. Danielle McDonald.
Oh, wow.
They like dress her down compared to the other characters. They don't put at least until the pageant, they don't put on as much makeup on her. They put her in ill-fitting clothes. Like they really work hard at like making her look frumpy.
Yeah.
And then there's things like when her and her friend make up, when her and Ellen make up, Ellen says to her, "For the record, I never thought of you as fat."
I know. I did not like that line.
But I did like that they followed it up with Hannah going, "I have always thought of you as fat." But you didn't like the way that she said that?
I did not like the end. It kind of feels like someone saying like, I don't think of you as black. I don't see color.
That's exactly what I didn't like about
like,
it.
You know, like it felt like that. It felt like
let's be okay with being fat.
Can we just be like okay saying that being fat is bad? Like
exactly.
I don't think of you as being gross and ugly and disgusting.
Which is what the word fat means.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to if we decide that being fat is also beautiful.
And when I call myself fat, I can like just like this. Like people always like recoil, like and some people are like, "You're not fat. You're curvaceous," or like something like that. And I'm just
I am curvaceous.
It's like I am fat,
but also I'm fat. So like I can be like, why don't you take the way that you said curvaceous and apply it to the word fat? I'm calling
myself fat. Like that's
like let's just be okay with being fat.
Yeah,
let's just be okay with that.
Yeah.
And when anytime we saw Lucy, she definitely like they lit her in this very beautiful, dreamy way. And like she had makeup and she had these beautiful like caftans and like this gorgeous swimsuit she was wearing. And anyway, so they definitely did work. Like, so at times this movie does a really good job of being like, you know, like love yourself no matter what your body type is. Yeah. But then also at times I was like honestly, Millie seemed like the most body positive character in the whole movie, and she's not the main character. So is that because Willa D needs to learn to be body positive? But I'm not sure if the movie is body positive. No. You know what I mean?
So do you remember the swimsuit thing that Willa Dean and Ellen did, where Willa Dean was like, everybody, and then everybody is a swimsuit body.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, how do you feel about it? You brought it up. How do you feel about it?
I feel like it feels like one of those things that like was supposed to make people feel like, oh, well, that's a great message. It took me out of the film.
Yeah, it seemed like a weird place for that to happen.
Yeah, it felt like a statement.
Like, I wanted her to have a more like I'm beautiful in my body moment, the way Millie did. It was like really confusing to me. Yeah. But yeah, I get what they were doing, but also it seemed like Ellen wanted to win, and now you're like reducing your chances of winning by doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like a statement from the filmmaker as opposed to a part of the story.
It did seem a little weird. It seemed a little weird. And then everybody gets up and cheers at the pageant, which, like, is that how that would go down? I'm not sure if it would.
I think everyone would be like...
In a small Texas town?
just like crickets.
Yeah, I feel like there might be one or two Hannahs in the audience who are down with that.
Yeah.
Also, again, there was something a little... something truthful but also very off-putting about how when Hannah comes out in their bathing suit and the judges openly sneer.
I didn't see that.
I noticed it last night when I watched it again. Hannah comes out, I think, maybe after Millie, but before Willadine.
Okay.
And they're wearing like a black bathing suit, like a one piece. And there's literally nothing wrong with Hannah's body. Mm-hmm. It's like a little gothy maybe, but anyway. It was, I guess since you don't remember it, there's not really much to say other than I just was like, they're like openly making faces. Yeah. And then Hannah gives them the finger, of course.
I don't remember that at all. Interesting, yeah.
Sorry. So there's a swimsuit competition, and then they have the talent competition. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Willadine has this amazing Dolly Parton magic.
Out of nowhere.
Well, they worked on it.
They did, but
I don't know how the sound people knew how to do all those light and sound cues, but we'll just suspend disbelief on that.
Yeah. But that's what gets her disqualified is surprising the judges and just surprising the pageant with, what she did.
And I know they established that rule earlier in the film. I feel like it was a real... Like, even the first time I watched this movie, my biggest problem with it was that Willadine gets disqualified. I feel like it was a real hack move. Mm-hmm. It almost felt to me like they were like, we have two fat girls in the pageant now, and only one of them can win, so we have to disqualify one of them. That's what it felt like to me.
Okay.
Because they knew they wanted to give it to Millie, who really wanted it, but I feel like Willadine could have still participated in the pageant and not won and still gotten the same enjoyment. And like, I feel like at the end we want to see that Willadine and her mom have like come to some kind of understanding. And the way her mom is just like, I'm so proud of you, but also you're disqualified. Yeah. I feel like it really undercuts that. And I understand that there's bylaws or whatever fucking bullshit, but like narratively, it felt like it undercut that moment. And I felt like Willadine should have been out there walking on her own and not as the escort of somebody else. It just seemed like horseshit to me.
Yeah.
It bothered me a lot. And I'm sure that's probably what happens in the book, and you can't change the book, I guess. But as a movie watcher watching this movie, even the first time, I was like, I really don't like this choice.
Yeah.
It seemed like they got themselves painted into a corner. They're like, oh my God, we never have this many fat women in one movie. What are we going to do now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway. And I get that it wasn't about her winning the pageant. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree that makes sense. That didn't occur to me, but
because they were like, we're going to give it to Millie, of course.
Yeah,
but she can still walk
second place,
right? But they're never going to give her first place.
No, I know.
But also, in a pageant situation, they still wouldn't have given. I feel like that was accurate. They even whether Millie was better, they probably would have given it to the other girl anyway. I mean, the fact that she wins first runner-up is like, wow, like that's progressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I do like the scene. I like when she gives her mom the pin and all that stuff. She gives her Lucy's pin. You know, it was just undercut for me by her getting disqualified. I was just like.
You know, one of the things I was thinking, I was like curious. Do they have plus size beauty pageants?
It's a good question.
It seems like a really
feels like they should. I have to say, I am seeing a lot more, like when I go online and look for clothes, like I see a lot more plus size models, which is like awesome.
Yeah.
Like if my whole life I saw people with different shapes, like maybe I wouldn't have tortured my body so much to try to fit into some ideal.
No. And I actually, because I'm plus size and I have been for some time, when I look at clothes that would fit me and I see plus size models, they look like normal women. And then when I see models who are size zero, I'm like, oh my gosh.
And I don't want to shame anybody that is naturally skinny. I don't want to shame, but it's really nice to see different body types more commonly being represented now. And I think that's the hard work of people who have been and again, like, I want to, like, this book was written by a woman who, an overweight woman, and the film wasn't written or directed by women who are plus size, but women wrote and directed the movie. So I feel like the work of, even though this movie doesn't succeed all and everything that I would like it to, I definitely think it's better than something like Insatiable.
Yeah.
But like that, and like, again, like, Lena Dunham is a problematic figure. Like, I'm just going to say that right off the bat. As a person and as an artist, she's very problematic. But her and like Mindy Kaling and other people who were they wrote shows where they themselves were like the romantic lead in the show. Mm-hmm. And like that, I think that, and like, and Liz, like someone like Lizzo, who's this like confident plus size woman. There's all these like artists and entertainers who are like forging their path in the industry and saying like, I'm beautiful, whatever my body looks like, right? And again, like, Lena Dunham and Mindy Kaling aren't like plus sized women. They're like women with normal sized bodies. Yeah. But it's like a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and like we can open up, you know, what our idea of beauty is, and that beauty can be lots of different sizes and body types and skin colors and abilities. You know, like, it's not just able-bodied people. You know, like, there's lots of different things that make us beautiful, and like we can appreciate all of that. And so it's nice to see that more reflected in, like, it's nice to see advertisers going like, oh wait, women who are like plus size women want to feel beautiful, and they want to see clothes on women that look like them, so that they can
buy the clothes if you put them on people who look like them.
Exactly. like finally the bell is going off and they're like, oh my God. They don't just want to wear like ill-fitting clothes. Yeah. And look at clothes that they're going to buy on somebody who is a size 0. Yeah. You know? I feel like I just like went on a huge tangent. Okay. So to wrap up, Millie gets runner-up. And then basically, Willa Dean's like, well, we're done here. Oh, we didn't even talk about how like her mom can't fit in her dress that she's been dieting for the whole time. So she ends up having to wear one of Lee's dresses. Like Lee comes back there. We didn't even address this, but Lee and several of the other people from the Hideaway are in the audience sitting next to Millie's mom, which I really enjoyed. Yeah. Because at first they're like, oh my God. They don't like, because they don't know, like, she doesn't know that her daughter has been at this like drag bar, like practicing for the pageant. So I really enjoyed that a lot. But anyway, so Willa Dean leaves as soon as she hears Millie win, which I was very happy that they gave that character that win. I thought that was great. And then Willa Dean goes back to Beau. Mm-hmm. And you get and I do feel like it's a real win to see a overweight character like be a protagonist and then also get the guy at the end and have that magic kiss at the end. Yeah. You know? But maybe like, you know, put her in some clothes that fit also next time. Let's take it one step further. Yeah.
And I was half like expecting him to be like repulsed by the outfit she was wearing. Because I feel like if you like someone who looks schlubby all the time, maybe you like that look. And if they get all dolled up, you're like, you're not the same person.
He was into it though.
Yeah, he was.
And she looked amazing.
Yeah.
And I wish they had given her a little bit nicer wardrobe. Like she can still dress down. I mean, Millie in several scenes was not dolled up all the time, but still like was wearing shirts that fit her.
Yeah, put her in some peplum tops.
Yeah, so give her some peplum. Peplum looks good.
I mean, I have figured out what looks good on me, and I just wear that all the time.
And we all have different shapes that look good on us. And anyway. Okay, so final thoughts on Dumplin.
I think you brought up some very, very good points.
I feel like I'm poo-pooing it. I don't mean to poo-poo.
No.
It's just I noticed some of these things on the second watch.
I've only seen it once. So
I thought it was very charming the first time.
Yeah.
Except I always hated that part at the end where she gets disqualified. That bothered me from the beginning.
Yes. For me, the takeaways were what I talked about initially were the Beau things that I'm just like, well,
she related to that.
Maybe some Beau out there likes me, would like me.
Absolutely.
At the size I am.
You're gorgeous.
Okay.
And you have amazing fashion sense.
Oh, thank you.
You really do. You have the cutest clothes. Yeah, I think that the movie gets a lot of things right. Mm-hmm. Way better than Insatiable.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
We didn't really talk too much about Insatiable, but Insatiable, when we watched that episode, we only watched the pilot, so take that as you will. We didn't watch the whole season. What bothered us about Insatiable wasn't just the way being overweight was treated as like this like really bad thing, but also the over-sexualization of the body of a teenage girl,
yes.
which happened a lot in Insatiable and did not happen in this movie.
Yes.
The teenagers were treated like teenagers, and thank God. In fact, there was a really funny scene during the talent competition where one of the girls was like twerking as her talent, and they were like, no. So I think the movie does a lot of right things. I mean, there's something a little hokey about it. It does kind of have that YA thing going on. But I do appreciate the things that it gets right.
Yeah.
And I do think that it is a step in the right direction to having protagonists that, like, what I would like to see going forward, and I'm hoping that we're going to see this with Shrill, which is not a Georgia-made show, but is a show that is coming out on Hulu this week. I think Friday.
Oh, wow.
It's the 15th, I believe.
Oh, man.
But Shrill is coming out on Hulu. Was not shot in Georgia, but you and I have both read Lindy West's book Shrill, and it was a real game changer for me because I was like, oh my God, she's right. Like, what if instead of, what if we just embrace the word fat and we're like, fat is okay, fat is good, like this is what my body looks like, your body looks like that, like just let me live my life and I want to feel like I'm beautiful and I don't need your, commentary on what I should feel about myself. So we both read
I love Shrill.
And so that's a show that's coming out with Heidi Bryant. And I'm hoping that we'll begin to see stories where women who are different body shapes are treated, lit, have makeup, dressed, wardrobed, what have you, like you would a thin person as in a lead role. Yeah. Like, what if we had more stories about protagonists that are fat that isn't about them being fat all the time? Yeah. Like, obviously that's something in, like, if that is even somewhere in the story is like, because that's something people deal with, okay, but it's like a lot of stories where your main character protagonist is fat. That's what the whole fucking show is about. And like, so I'd love to see, what if we just had a show that was just a fucking normal show where girl finds love or girl finds great career or whatever, and she's fat and we don't have to fucking talk about it so much. Yeah. But we lit her like a goddess, like we do with thin people. Yeah. Because even thin people don't look like that in real life. Yeah. Just being thin doesn't immediately mean you have this like amber hair light at all times and this like gorgeous makeup and perfect eyelashes. Like that is not what real life is like. So let's light and dress fat people in film and TV the way that we do thin people. Yes. That's what I'd like to see next.
Hell yes.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap up our discussion. Yes. Oh, wait. Did you want to know about the books? This came from a book called Dumplin. Okay. And I read a little bit about it today. The way that it's described sounds a little bit more like she went into the pageant to like boost her confidence. Mm-hmm. So the differences in the book are, what actually happens in the book is that Dumplin or Willa Dean, first of all, she's not bothered by the nickname Dumplin. Okay. She's actually not even really bothered by, according to now I did not read the book. I read several synopsises to try to cross-reference them and make sure that this was accurate. But I haven't read the book. She apparently is a little insecure about being picked on at school, but she doesn't like the pageants or her mom telling her to lose weight, but she's not bothered by the nickname Dumplin. It seems, according to the synopsis, she's a little more self-confident in the book. What shakes her confidence is that when she starts that fast food job, she begins dating one of the boys that works there. I think his name's Mitch. He's the other boy in the show that's her friend at the restaurant that we hardly get to know. Okay. So she starts dating the other guy that works there. She realizes that she actually really has a crush on Bo and wants to date him instead, and then becomes insecure because she thinks Bo wouldn't actually like her. Even so, she actually dates 2 people in this. Like Bo kisses her, and then she realizes that she doesn't really like Mitch as much as she likes Bo. So there's like, I feel like even Bo. That is more body positive right there, to have a character who's like torn between 2 guys. You never see that. Yeah, I feel like with a plus size character. That?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not in the movie, right? Yeah. So, but that's why she does the pageant, because she starts to feel insecure about her body, because she's like, well, I want to be with Bo, but I don't think he's going to like a girl like me. So she does the pageant to boost her confidence, according to the synopsis I read, which I think would have been. And then Ellen also joins the pageant to support her, and their falling out becomes more over like, I guess Willa Dean being insecure about her body and feeling like a little jealous that Ellen has a more traditional body type. I think that's what their fight is about. This is
a book I feel like I would want to read.
Anyway, so that's...
Is it a YA novel?
It's a YA novel,
okay,
yeah.
Well, perhaps not. But...
Well, if you do read it, come back and give us an update.
Okay.
You could probably read it in like
a day.
40 minutes on the toilet.
40 minutes on the toilet? Why would I be on the toilet for 40 minutes?
I have intestinal problems.
Okay.
I once read the entire book, the entire Stephen King book, Carrie, on a toilet on a Saturday. I did. This was before I had kids, though. My legs definitely fell asleep.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the book. I did not get a chance to figure out whether or not. I guess she gets. I don't know if she gets disqualified in the book. That's what I was trying to figure out, but I couldn't really get a solid answer on that.
So maybe I should
listeners,
read the
please
book.
Let us know. Listeners, if you've read Dumplin, please let us know. Does Willa Dean get disqualified in the book? Because that was a real sticking point for us here in the movie. And then there's this follow-up to that book called Puddin'.
What?
And guess who the main character of Puddin' is?
A dude?
Millie.
Millie.
Yeah, Millie decides that she wants to... What is it? It's like she wants to... I can't remember. Here, let me see if I... Hang on. I do have it pulled up. Okay, so Puddin'. Millie Millichuk has gone to fat camp every year since she was a little girl. Not this year. This year she has plans to chase her secret dream of being a newscaster and to kiss the boy that she has a crush on. Callie Reyes, that's the girl who's friends with Ellen from the clothing store, is a pretty girl who is next in line for the dance team captain and has a popular boyfriend. But when it comes to other girls, she's more of a frenemy than a friend. When circumstances bring the girls together over the course of a semester, they surprise everyone, especially themselves, by realizing that they might have more in common than they ever imagined.
When were these books written?
Dumplin came out in 2015, so I assume Puddin' is fairly recent. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had books like this when we were kids.
I know, but isn't it nice that they have those now? I actually also like the idea of like girls thinking a certain way about each other and then discovering that they're not that different. I think that's really nice. So, if you read any of those books, come back and let us know about it.
Dumplin' and Puddin'.
Read them in a weekend on the toilet. Is that a ringing review for this book?
I consulted the Magic 8 Ball.
Yeah? What'd it say?
It said, outlook good.
Thanks for listening to the Georgia Made podcast. Join us for our next episode, in which we'll tell you all about the films we saw at the Atlanta Film Festival. You can subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite pods. If you like what you hear, consider leaving us a rating or review. It helps people like you, who love talking about film and filmmaking, find our show. You can continue the conversation with us on social media. We're at Georgia Made Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find us on Twitter at Georgia Made Pod. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're making out there, keep going. Because it's hard to be a diamond in a rhinestone world.